Morning guys, Ted Ladzinksi, Motor City Spindle. And first I wanted to say thank you to Practical Machinists. Thank you for doing the shop tour with us today. So we're going to show you all around the shop and each department. We're going to take you through what happens to a spindle when it gets processed here at Motor City Spindle Repair. But before we dive into that, I want to tell you a little bit about Motor City. I started Motor City back in 2008 with my business partner Brian Burns. Brian Burns and I both worked for several different spindle OEMs and some third-party rebuilders before we got things going. We've traveled the country. I've been doing this since '98, traveling the country, calling on some of the biggest manufacturing facilities and talking to them exclusively about spindle repair. So we got a great group here. I'm going to introduce you to our other owner, Jeff Carter, who became an owner in 2014. Jeff, as well as Brian, worked at the same spindle OEMs as I did. This is the fourth company that we've worked together. Jeff left the company I was at, started his own business, and in 2014 we moved into Livonia, Michigan, 8,000 square feet, and we merged our two companies. And it's great that after just 3 years of having our business together, we outgrew that, and now we're here in Dearborn, Michigan, 25,000 square feet. Originally, we wanted to be a sales and marketing company. We were working with different spindle OEMs, different rebuilders all over the country, and we were getting involved with ball screws, way covers, servo motors, electronics, everything involved with the machine tool industry. Our background was always working with spindles. We had always worked with a large number of technicians with a lot of background, and back these guys had 10, 20 years experience manufacturing, remanufacturing spindles, spindle testing, manufacturing spindle components. So we got together and started hiring these gentlemen one by one, and I'm going to be introducing you to some of them and telling you all about them as we move forward. So look forward to showing you around the shop. One of the things that never gets old at Motor City is receiving spindles. We own 2 different cargo vans for picking up and delivering spindles. We also own somewhere between a half dozen and dozen pickup trucks. And of course, we receive spindles in from semis every single day. So once a unit's received at our facility, we log it in to our logbook manually, and then we take digital photographs of the unit and we log it into our system for tracking purposes. Once this is squared away, the spindle is off to the teardown department. We've taken our spindle and it's come over from shipping and receiving, and we're now in our teardown and inspection department. And at Motor City, we try to quote our spindles in 24 hours or less. We don't hit that all the time, but generally speaking, we hit somewhere between 80 and 90% of spindles quoted same day as received. Obviously, if it comes in the afternoon, it might take until the following morning to get quoted. I've always said, you know, most companies take a lot longer to quote spindle repairs than us, but really what it really takes is just getting your hands on the spindles. So the guys in this department are highly cross-trained. We definitely have gentlemen that specialize in different specific makes and models of spindles, but we really try hard to have everybody cross-trained with the different machining centers, turning centers, and grinding spindles we do. And since we have different individuals all putting their hands on spindles for teardown, for inspection, and cleaning, it really helps us deliver those fast quotations that leads to faster lead times. But also, we're going to check this out later. A lot of parts are going out to our machine shop. They come back after they're reworked or manufactured. They have to be inspected. So that's what a lot of the gentlemen are doing in this room. When you get the spindle out of the box, you get it in front of these technicians, and they're taking the units apart. It really only takes a few hours to get these units disassembled. Now, if a unit's had a severe crash, if it's locked up, obviously these spindles can fight us, and they can take a few days to get quoted because of that. When bearing journals get really hot, they can actually weld themselves to the inner race on the shaft of the spindle or on the outer race to the housing bore. So we do come across that, but that's where we'll take a look at the machine shop and show you how we requalify these components. Hey guys, so now we're in our machine shop. So this is a full-scale machine shop I'm really excited to tell you more about.
Thomas Allman's running this department. Before Thomas came in a few years ago, we were strictly running manual machine tools. Now we're running about 50-50 manual and CNC machine tools. But this is really Thomas's world, so I'm gonna let him tell you all about it.
All right, I'd like to welcome you to Motor City Spindle Repair's machine shop. This is Ralph Hunt, 45 years experience. My name's Tom Allman, 25 years experience. And we're going to tell you a little bit about our shop. What you see on the screen there is Practical Machinist, and this tool is used by us daily. Sometimes you make a part a month ago or maybe a year ago and don't remember quite the process that you needed to do, so you go on this platform here.
Helps a lot.
Helps a lot.
Sure.
So I'd like to pause and say thank you to Practical Machinists for putting us on your platform. It's a great opportunity. We love that you want to hear our story. So let's go over to the lathe. All right, this is our Akuma lathe.
It's manual, it's old, it's noisy, but it's a great machine.
We just rebuilt it about 6 months ago. We did the work spindle, and it's running as true as ever now.
It's a workhorse, it's strong. It is a strong machine.
This was our only manual lathe for a while, and it did all our threading, all our boring, turning. It's just been, it's irreplaceable.
You know, most of the work in the spindle business is round. Most of it is lathe work. So you have to have decent machinery. Yeah.
Let's go over next door to the LeBlanc, and I'll tell you what we're about to do to that machine. We'll move on to our manual Kellenbergers, and we'll tell you about those. Now we're in our precision grinding department. We have two Kellenberger 1500Us. They're universal cylindrical grinders. This was the first one the company acquired right here. It has a 60-inch bed on it. The only thing we rebuilt on this machine is the workhead spindle, and it runs perfect. I guess that's enough about this machine. I know our newer Kellenberger 1500U right across from the other one. This one we picked up in Cincinnati, along with the Cnc Machines. This one's a little bit newer. We had to make a lot of custom tooling for this machine. We built the steady rest for it, a dresser stand. We built this ID spindle. This is our very own ID spindle that Motor City designed and built. This machine's a great machine. It's on risers too, which give you a lot more workpiece capacity, where that one, it's only maybe a 12-inch swing. This one's an 18-inch swing. Again, this is still 60-inch bed. And then over here, we got all our custom tooling that we made. We made all this tooling for these Kellenbergers, and everything you see there gets used. Another thing I wanted to point out, which really keeps us very accurate here, is this air gauge. This air gauge will let us know to the millionth whether you got run out in your taper, you got a bad taper, good. This will tell you if everything is perfect. And we got Cat 40, Cat 30, and I believe we have Cat 50. And we're going to have Capto on the way also. So this exciting stuff right here from Motor City. All right, let's head over to our bridge ports, which is right over there. All right, this is one of our bridge ports. This is a daily use machine. Daily use machine. It has a Prototrak Plus on it.
That Prototrak is old. It works really well. It's very accurate still. We actually had Prototrak in here having a look at some of their newer products, and the gentleman wanted to take a picture of that because he'd never seen one. I think it's like the second generation of Prototrak. Still looks great.
And it's programmable too. Right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you could actually run that through a serial port, I believe, into a computer. We don't operate that way. We just it's like a conversation control.
What I like about this thing the most is the Z. You see, you got the Z axis, where that our other Bridgeport doesn't have it, and it comes in. It's just handy every day. So let's go over to our Series 2 special here, another Bridgeport, and this one's a lot more heavy duty than that one. It's got this, I think it's an 8-inch riser.
You've got box ways on it, heavy duty. It's a bigger Bridgeport. Should take a lot.
The table is air assist, so it's a lot lighter to pick it up. And here's some of our creative work holding. We had a big housing up here that we were doing some work on. So that's about it for the Bridgeports. Yeah. Let's move on to our surface grinders.
This is a Brown and Sharp wet grinder that we have converted into a rotary grinder. Once again, round parts, serves great purpose for us. You know, you got a mag chuck here. Let's see if she'll fire up. Nice large wheel. Very easy. We can rotary grind. You know, it needs a little tune-up, probably within 30 millionths parallel on this machine. Works really well. It's been repurposed.
Yep.
It's not what it was intended for, but works great.
All right, we're done with our manual machines. Let's go check out our CNC machines now, but first, let's go to our CAD area, and I'll show you how we run the CNCs with the Cad Cam. All right, this is our Cad Cam area. I like doing it out in the shop. I just couldn't stand being in my office, so I moved it out here to my toolbox. This controls our CNC machines. I reverse engineer parts, and then we recreate them in a 3D model space. That in turn goes to the cam side of the software, and I create a toolpath for it, which talks to the machines in G-code. It's very handy. This is Fusion 360. I brought this into the shop about 8 months ago, and it's hit the ground running, and we haven't stopped since. I've been using AutoCAD for about 20 years now, and it's a very critical process to our spindle rebuilding now. It's been a game changer for us. So with that said, let's go check out our CNC machines. All right, this is our recently purchased Doosan lathe. It is a mill turn lathe. It's got live tooling on it. It's got the C access. Before we got this machine, we were all manual shop, and I kept bugging management that we needed CNC machines. So I think they finally got tired of me bugging them, and I found this machine online in Illinois, and they were like, okay, go out and check it out. So I took my wife and kids out. We got an Airbnb. I went out to Schaumburg, Illinois, and looked at this for hours. And I was like, yeah, this is a great machine. And that's really the story on that. And then I seen the mill also, and it also came from the same place, which we'll show you next. All right, this is our CNC vertical mill, 2416 Express. All right, what you're seeing in the video you're watching now is drive keys, which we've always made in-house, but now it's a lot easier to make them in-house. So we can make a whole bunch at a time, and this is just one of the processes. This gets flipped over, and then all the material milled off, and then you have your drive keys. This is our newest CNC machine, the Hardinge Kellenberger K100. It's a universal grinder. It does cylindrical grinding and non-round grinding. Pretty amazing stuff. Let me show you. This is the non-round grinding part. It already has some programs built into it, Capto, Ellipse, and you can do keyways in ID or OD. And it's a great machine. Let me open the doors up. You can see that monster quill I have in there right now. We were just doing a really deep ID bore, and it ground it perfectly. And we'll make sure to show you footage of it running. This machine is brand new. It just hit our floor about a month and a half ago, and it hit the ground running, and we're grinding ID work, OD work. Tomorrow we got a non-round grind going in there, which is going to be pretty cool. We got GoPros in here to catch the footage of everything. It's been some really neat footage. Thanks for watching our machine shop tour. I'm going to send you back to Ted, and he's going to show you the rest of the facility. Again, thank you. Thank you, Practical Machinists.
Welcome to the Motor City Spindle Room. So a lot of people, when they talk about CNC machine tools, they talk about the spindle being the heart and soul of the machine tool. And in Motor City, we definitely feel like our spindle room is definitely the heart and soul of our company. Love to show you around here and introduce you to some of the technicians. A lot of these guys have 10, 20, even 30 years experience working with CNC machine tools, rebuilding spindles on machining centers, turning centers, grinding machine tool spindles. In any given month, we're doing 50, 60 units a month. That used to be about a 50-50 ratio for motorized versus direct driven, belt driven. Now in any given month, it's typically around 3/4 of the units we're doing are all motorized, and most of them are high speed. High speed can be different to everybody, right? Back in the day, it used to be 8,000, 10,000 RPM. Now we're doing motorized machining center spindles that are 15, 18,000, 24,000, 30,000, even 40,000 RPM. So let's show you a little bit around and some of the diversity of the units we're working on.
So Jeff Carter is not only a spindle room leader, but he's also an owner. And Jeff Carter has been building CNC spindles since '92. He's one of the best spindle technicians I've ever worked with. Hands down, he's a guy I knew I could not build this company without him. He helps us every single day. He's got the second most experience next to Richard Griffith. Rich has been building spindles since '85, 36 years. Richard and Jeff and I, we all worked at a couple different spindle repair companies and one major spindle OEM. I think that gives us major insight into how these spindles are manufactured. Since 2011, Dave worked for a couple different spindle OEMs as well. Richard Lupu came over to the team and has been a tremendous asset, who's also been in the spindle repair business for a long time. And then there's John Wilson. John worked with us at some other third party and different spindle OEMs, owned his own business, but he seemed to be a better fit being a part of our team.
So we're in our testing department at Motor City Spindle, and right now we're working with Rodney and Kevin. Both these gentlemen work full-time test running spindles. So what we're doing is we're going to run these units at maximum RPM to fully break them in, but we're also going to be measuring vibration so that we can see the vibration signatures on the spindle bearings. That's going to tell us the health of the bearing and also the balance. So we're measuring velocity, acceleration, and displacement. And these spindles have already been dynamically balanced, but now we're going to be able to give them a final trim balance during test run. And if they are belt driven in the machine tool, gear driven, inline, we got these auxiliary motors that we're running them off of a belt. If they're motorized units, which we're going to show you in a little bit, we'll be running them right off these variable frequency drives mounted on all these different walls. So right here we're running an in-shoe spindle, and when we rebuild a spindle, we guarantee it to 1/10,000th of an inch or tighter tolerance off the face. We also guarantee different OEM specs of 3 micron, 5 micron that we test off of boring bars. if you look at this spindle, this one's kind of a cool spindle to take a look at because the front end, this is an oscillating boring mill. These are not very popular out there in the machine tool industry, but just wanted to point it out to you and let you know we always guarantee 1/10,000th of an inch or better. Quite frequently we're holding 50 millionths. True indicated runout. So motorized spindle testing. A lot of the units we're building, they're grease packed for life or they're oil mist or oil mist injected. We have a strict policy here. If we can't test it, we won't rebuild it. So we're frequently investing in new variable frequency drives, different lubrication systems, all different types of equipment so that we can test run the spindles. But one thing for sure, we're always running them up to maximum RPM. We typically like to run the units for a total of 8 hours, and we like to run them at maximum RPM for a total of 2 hours. So a lot of people ask us how that whole running process works. And it's very simple. We're gonna run the spindle at 5% maximum RPM. We're gonna check vibration, acceleration, velocity, displacement. We're gonna do our thermal checks to make sure our bearings aren't exceeding 129 degrees. After they hit 119 degrees, it's kind of a red flag to check out the spindles. And once they pass those tests, we're gonna bump them up to 10% maximum RPM. And then we're gonna increase RPM 10% intervals again until we hit that maximum RPM. Now again, whether they're grease packed, oil mist, we're gonna be running all these units. We frequently have to manufacture our own test fixtures, different housing bores, different ways to hold onto these spindles so that we can run them in. We frequently hear, oh, you can't test run our spindle because it's motorized or because it's a cartridge spindle, or all different types of reasons why we can't test particular spindles. It's really not the case. Again, we're doing 50, 60, sometimes 70 units a month, and we're test running everything we do. We're always increasing our test stands and our capabilities to allow us to run these units.
At Motor City Spindle, we build custom crates for all outgoing spindles we repair. So even when units are received on pallets or come in old boxes, we will manufacture spindle boxes here at our location to make sure that units are secure, they're properly packaged, and will not be damaged during shipment. We really appreciate going above and beyond for our customers so that if they're in a pinch, they don't have the resources, the equipment, or if they just don't have the time to build their own boxes, they know that when they receive their remanufactured spindle from us, it will be properly and professionally packaged and secure when they receive it.
All right, guys, so that concludes our tour of Motor City Spindle. I want to thank you for checking us out. Obviously, I want to thank you to Practical Machinists for allowing us to show everybody around the facility. We're going to be doing some pretty cool features about different spindle practices, how to extend spindle life, failure analysis reports, and just best practices with your machining centers, turning centers, grinding machines, all coming at you from Practical Machinists. So look forward to showing you more, and thanks again. It was a pleasure. Stay awesome, guys.